Another Ants on a Rock video. Welcome to the Ant Corner.
Hey there guys and girls, it's that time of the week again. Welcome back to another video with me, Tom, from Ants on a Rock. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for coming back. I've been promising to do a bit of a roundup of all my ant colonies, a little bit of an update, a bit of a tour, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to give you a full tour, update, whatever you want to call it thing. Right now, we're going to go around all the ant colonies in the ant corner. I'm not going to show you the bullet ants and I'm not going to show you the multi-species tank because they are on my streams all the time now and you can find out about them live from me anytime you want by tuning in to one of my streams. But I am going to show you all the ants in the actual ant corner, in their tanks, little formicariums and things like that. And yeah, let's get on with it and see what you think. This colony has been doing really well. I've been seeing them doing this digging and they are living in both test tubes. So I thought they had much larger numbers, but when I went to check, they actually still only had about 20 or so numbers. This was a big shock to me, as I thought they'd be more around the 50 worker mark by now. But that's fine. I suppose they've only just come out of diapause. As you can see, there was a few dead, and they've cleared them out of the nest. That's completely normal over the winter period. Even if you don't cool them down, they will slow down and go into diapause. Not an issue. Give it a few months, this colony will grow and they can be attached to the bigger nest that I have planned. Mesobarbarus feed mainly on seeds, but I do like to give them protein and carbs as well, although they more go for the protein than the carbs. They do get protein and carbohydrates from ant bread that they make from crushing the seeds. They need majors like this one here to be able to do it. So if you haven't got majors and only little workers like them, then you need to pre-crush your seeds so that they can get to it easy and make the ant bread. You can see they're also using this little nest here, supplied by Ant Boy UK. They've actually used it as a trash site, which is completely fine. Slightly annoying, but completely fine. This colony of Lacius niger have been doing quite well and have recently woken up from their diapause, as most of my ants have. You can see they still got the sand from their original outworld in their test tube. I didn't want to pour this out, I wanted to leave it as they've built a little barrier to keep their nest area contained and safe. This makes them feel safe and happier and more encouraging to come out and forage. I feed them the standard diet of protein and carbohydrates from sugars. They really enjoy waxworms and this one's about a day old or so now, so I'll take it out soon. I don't like to leave food in more than a day or two because it can attract mites and other issues within the colony. This colony was one of my multi-queen colonies of Lacius niger, but if we look really closely, I can only see one queen in there. So it looks like they might have killed the other queen, which is quite normal in Lacius niger, and I did think that might happen, but that was part of the experiment to see. They've got lots of workers though, so it's almost like they've been boosted. Exciting stuff. Colony of Myrmecoruba have been one of my oldest colonies of Myrmecoruba, featured on the channel as the Red Army. They had a massive die-off a long time ago due to a problem with the tower. The honey tower just decided to leak overnight, trapping and killing almost the entire colony, leaving just 3 workers and the queen. So I put them back into this tubs and tubes setup and they've done quite well. I fed them this waxworm just yesterday, and I saw 7 workers coming out to feed on it. So that's more than double the amount that they had. And there's a couple of dead bodies in the outworld as well, which need to be removed. That means that they are repopulating. I don't know how many could be in those tubes, but I'm hoping the numbers are slowly on the rise again, and the Red Army will make their big comeback. This colony of red-head Mesobarbarus are doing really well. I'm not going to disturb them or tell you much about them, apart from they're doing really well, slowly growing in numbers, and soon they're going to need an expansion into another nest and a second outworld. Exciting times. Let's move on. This colony of Lasius niger, again, are doing really well. They haven't moved in to the nest yet, or this nest, but they live in like this little bit of tube that I decided to wrap in tin foil to make dark and more comfortable for them. They blocked it up at the front there, and they did try to dig. They've dug quite a few tunnels actually, but they don't really go anywhere, and they still live in the tube. Quite a lot of dead have been put in the outworld, now they're coming out of diapause, which is slightly concerning. But looking into the tube, we're well into the 50s, maybe even 100 workers. It was hard to tell as they were all scrambling on top of each other. But they're doing really well, and I'm quite excited for this colony. Needs a little bit of a clean soon. I'll do all of that when I take all the food remains out tomorrow. This is my second multi-queen colony of Lasius niger, and again they're doing quite well. There's a worker just there on the cotton eating some of the carbs. I see them quite regularly come out, and they love their protein. They haven't really gone into a diapause, but they haven't really been overexcited either, if that's the right term. I've seen them regularly, 1 or 2 workers coming out all the time looking for food, so I keep feeding them, and they've been taking it. Apart from that, there's not a lot to report. I haven't looked in, so I don't know if both queens are still there. It'll be interesting to see when I decide to move them. That'll be when the water starts to run out. I'll look at replacing them, either into a new test tube by adding a second one into one of these slots, or I will attach it to a nest and let them move into a proper nest site, but we'll see. This is the oldest and most original colony from my channel. They are the conquerors, Lasius niger. I've got quite a few Lasius nigers, have you noticed? Now I don't know the numbers of this colony, and I only ever see 4 or 5 foraging at a time, so I don't think they're massive in numbers. You can see there's holes scattered all over the place, because they actually decided to dig into the drainage layer, and that's where they live. Quite annoyingly, they don't just live in the mound, they live in the drainage layer. So I don't see much of them. I have no idea of numbers. I don't want to shake it, I don't want to move it in case the stones of the drainage layer decide to shift and crush the queen. Quite a dodgy situation, but they're doing fine. I feed them and I see workers eating, and that to me means they're doing fine. Let's move on. My colony of Lasius flavus. I'm a little bit concerned because they were in another nest and all the workers died, leaving just the queen, and I'm not sure the workers fed her before they died. So she probably used up all of her stores already on those workers, and she's probably not got enough stores to make a new set of workers. I keep putting food in, but she's not semi-claustral, so she's not coming out of the tube either. I've made it dark and got her in the very best setup that I own. One I made myself. You can see a video about it on my channel. I'll put a little link here. But I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really hoping to have a flavus colony because I haven't had a flavus colony before. we'll wait and see what happens. Wish them luck. My colony of Manica rubida. They had a massive die-off of most of the workers, and I think they were left with one or two, and a huge pile of eggs. So I keep feeding them, and they are coming out and eating. The queen's also semi-claustral, and I've seen her a couple of times, although they do stop to do that so much once they've got workers. But it is nice that she's still coming out after this die-off, as they need it. This will be the last time you see them in this setup. I've watered it, I've made the outworld more humid, and I'm hoping they're on the rise back. But tonight, I will be putting them in to a new setup. One where they can dig their own tunnels, they can do their own thing, and dig their own founding claustral chamber. Expand out from that chamber to the size of the colony, rather than having lots of extra space that they just don't need. I'm hoping this will bring them back, as they really enjoy a humid environment, and something like that they can dig in themselves should provide just the thing. I'll keep you updated on this colony. My Murano Plus bicolour have always been easy. Never really caused an issue, they've never tried to escape, they've never outgrown their tank. They are a brilliant colony, although they are all hiding now by the looks of it. When I feed them, they always come out in large numbers though, and it's quite exciting to see the trails of them. They are completely defensive ants, and they're not aggressive at all. When they're threatened, they curl up and play dead, which is also a really cool trait. But they've also got quite a nasty sting, and if you get caught by it, it will hurt. They're beautiful little ants with a little heart-shaped gaster. I really wish some of them were in the outworld so I could show you, but it doesn't look like any are now. This outworld is made of both sand and dirt, layers and layers and layers, with even some layers of carbon in there, so that as the water that I use to humidify it passes through, it won't go fousty before it hits the drainage layer. When it's in the drainage layer, it will come back up the sides in condensation and drip back down, keeping the tank wet for longer. I don't actually have a lid for this tank, so it doesn't stay humid for long, so I have to water it almost every day. You can kind of tell by the way the sand looks when it starts to dry out, but at the moment it's just about wet enough. I can probably get away with it for today. I do of course have a little humidity monitor and temperature monitor in there, but I use that as a rough gauge. I like to think deeper into the substrate, and that's not just sat on the top. My colony of European honeypots will be featured on the channel very soon. In fact, I shouldn't be doing this update until I've done the video moving them in. But I haven't edited it yet, and it's in the works, so you get to see them now. I moved them into a Tar Heel nest, a mini hearth, and they're really cool actually. We'll just see if we can do that, just ever so quickly. And there are some of the repletes hanging off the ceilings, just like they should. And in there, on top of the water pot thingy, is the queen, looking majestic as always. Now I do like this setup, I like the bits that they can hang off, I like the idea of it. The nest mate thing sort of leaked, but I decided, because that's mainly just to give them water, I would give them water in the outworld, which I was doing on a bit of tinfoil here, but then I went to feed them carbohydrates or protein and realised there wasn't much room really, so I added a second outworld. This is an ant boy outworld. I just quickly attached it via this tube. So on this cotton wool I have got water and carbohydrates, and then in the top section is where I'm feeding them protein. It seems to be working really well so far, and I haven't had any issues. They're eating and going about doing the things I'd expect them to do. Really exciting for this colony, as I love to see my honeypots. This colony of Lasius niger is my biggest colony of Lasius niger. They're doing really, really well. This is the imposters. They have this large outworld from Best Ants UK, decorated with some fake plants, and just very shallow amount of substrate. And then behind it they have their much larger T-shaped formicarium. It has the outworld section on top with a second water tower, because these things drink so much, but they use the water to hydrate the brood, which is actually really handy because I don't like to water the substrate in the T-tower too much. But they do have all of this area to dig in, which is really cool, and you can see my reflection. As you can see, if we look very closely, most of these chambers are fairly empty at the moment, and that again is because they are sort of in a state of diapause. Most of them are hiding down here in this corner, I think. But they are still here. As you can see, they're eating, they're drinking, they're doing the normal thing that ants do. So they're like 50-50 in diapause. But I love this colony. It's really great because I get to watch it loads and there's always lots of activity. Lasius niger are really underrated as the black garden ant. Common as common gets, really everywhere in the UK. But a great ant species. They don't bite, they don't really do much like that can harm you. They're really easy and hardy and easy to care for. They're a great starter species. I have loads of Lasius niger. I'm going to tell you about both my Campanota species together. In the back you got Hercularis, and in the front, if I say it right, Creataris? Those ones. They're both doing quite well actually, really a lot better than I thought. They've been out eating, feeding on both carbs and protein. Both colonies have multiple workers coming out, so I'm really hoping that they're coming out of diapause right now and they're gonna have a bit of a brood this year. The Hercularis, I've been keeping them for a whole year now and they've not laid a single egg. And the Creataris, they are laying and they haven't been with me for long, so I've got high expectations and high hopes for this colony that will be living with the acorn ants when they get to slightly larger numbers. Moving on, because there's not a lot to say about it. My large colony of Myrmecoruba from Best Ants UK. They're doing really well. They've had a few die, probably from old age, but they're doing really well. Really active colony, feeding regularly. If we look into the chamber ever so quickly, it's about half full right now. There's lots of ants, there's lots of eggs and larvae and stuff like that going on, and they're doing quite well. Also, they quite often hang out in the water test tube there. There's not so many at the moment, so I'm guessing the nest is the right humidity. That is the only thing that I say about this nest, is I'd love to know the actual temperature and humidity in the nest a bit better, but I have no room to put a monitor in, which is a bit of a shame. But I do like this nest because it's a great size and a great little setup. Seems to be working really, really well for this colony. I am expecting much growth over the summer period. Well, spring and summer. But it's going to be really exciting. Colony of acorn ants live in here, and although I don't get to see them often, sometimes I can spot them walking about. I built them this setup so that they can live in a natural way, and they live in this log here. You can see the holes they created and the wood that they brought out. It is quite hard to see them though, because they're about the same size as the springtails which walk around on the surface. great aim with this colony is to have them cohabiting with the colony of Camponotus creataris, or however you pronounce it. So it's going to be really interesting, and you'll have to stay tuned to see what happens in the future. But I'm super excited, as I am about most of my ants, as you may have noticed. And I think that's all I'm going to show you. I hope you enjoyed that video. I always enjoy making these videos for you, and I always enjoy when you comment back to me and let me know what you think. So please do let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. If you've got a favourite ant species, if you've got a favourite colony, let me know your favourite so we can talk about it, because I love to connect with you guys. Which brings me to my next thing. Join my Discord, it's getting amazing. We've got all sorts of cool stuff coming in. Massive upgrade, I think we're going to call it, because just so much is going to change and get better on the server. Now it's getting bigger, and we're getting some funding behind the Ants on the Rock channel project, whatever it is becoming now, because it's growing from this small channel to so much more. We've got other cool stuff that we're looking into as well. Merchandise, some other stuff that I'm not going to tell you about, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you stay tuned in. It's just going to blow up and expand over the next 6 months to a year. You wait and see what happens. It's going to be awesome. Don't forget, my schedule's now changed from last year. I'm now doing a review video every Monday. Every Sunday I go live with the Picnic Table Ant Chat on YouTube and Twitch, and then I do a video on Saturday, which is the full ant video of my personal ant colonies. And then I go live again on a Sunday on YouTube and Twitch with another Picnic Table Ant Chat, interviewing people, speaking to people, connecting with that community. We have open mic nights, and it's absolutely awesome. So do not miss out on the Picnic Table Ant Chat. If you haven't joined it yet, look it up. It's out there. We've got like loads of episodes now. It's on Spotify. You can listen to it offline, and it's brilliant. What else could you want? You can listen to ants offline. I mean, it's getting brilliant, isn't it? Let's say lots of stuff happening on this space. Lots of plans. I've been speaking to people all over the world, doing all sorts of different things. So just wait, see what happens. Do not miss out. But that is all from me right now. I'm going to disappear. I'm going to see you again tomorrow night, or whenever I do see you, whenever you're watching this. But don't miss out on the Picnic Table Ant Chat, because it's getting amazing, and I'm putting a lot of effort in to make it even better. So it's just going to get even better, and more ants, lots more ants, and insects, and other cool stuff that you want to see. It's going to be awesome. Don't miss it. See you there. I want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to my Patreon supporters, Jason Walker and Kevin Rogerson. You're both absolutely amazing for helping to support this channel grow. Also, a massive thank you goes out to Ants Are Us for supporting the Picnic Table live streams. This is absolutely amazing, and thank you so much. There's still more opportunities to help support the Picnic Table live streams or the whole Ants on the Rock channel. So check out my Patreon if you want to get involved. It's really cool, and it's going to help me grow massively. But as always from me, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans.